Hey guys, what is going on? We are back with another beer tasting. Sorry if you guys missed me this week at all. I just didn't think about doing it, and I realized it has been X amount of days. I think like 4 or 5 days since I've done a beer video, so it seems like a good time to bust out another one of the beers I got from the Cowbell Brewery last week. We have a Raspberry Moon, a fruit sour IPA. So I've been pretty excited to try this one because I like sours, but I don't think I've tried a sour IPA. This beer has about, it looks like 25 IBUs, so that is on the lower side of bitterness. So it should be interesting to complement some of the fruitiness going on in there. The alcohol percentage is 6.2, so it is a little bit on the stronger side, but I have been fairly excited to try this one. Anyway, but yeah, before I go into that, guys, hopefully your week has been well. Have you guys been drinking anything interesting, whether it be wine, beer, whiskey, scotch, tequila, whatever? Let me know in the comments and stuff. Tell me, guys, what you've been enjoying. But without further ado, let's crack this one open and give that a shot. Alrighty. Pours a nice head. Nice and thin, light. Color is really nice. It's a soft pink. Actually, almost, I'm trying to try to bring it up to the light here. If you can't see, it's like an orangey soft pink. Really nice, very vibrant, not too thick, not too heavy. I've a couple of the sours I've tried. Actually, the first one I did, the Omnipolo, the pancake one. That one was very thick, very dense. And I've tried a lot of sours like Jelly King and stuff that end up being very thick. This is actually a pretty like light sour, so that's interesting. I noticed the raspberries immediately on the nose. It smells sour, it smells tart. I'm almost puckering and stuff, just anticipating that. And you notice some of the hops and stuff in there. I don't know yet all my type of hops. I was reading a little bit about it, reading about some of the ones you'd find in here, but I'm not super well versed that I could taste a beer yet and discern the hops. But that's part of the journey, that's part of learning, that's part of the fun about tasting beer. So without further ado, So that's got a pretty nice, it's got a nice flavor to it. It's very tart. Immediately I noticed I would say the sourness of the berries. It has a very, it tastes very fermented. If you guys know, when you guys think about a fermented flavor, like that tartness, that, just like that tang. If you ever had a wild ale, wild ales have like that, you can taste the strength of the bacteria cultures in it. It tastes almost like funky. It's nice. It's still refreshing. The hops are really mild. I don't notice a lot of hoppiness behind this beer. There's actually an interesting amount of sediment in there in the bottom of the glass. Makes sense though. Yeah, I'm gonna say, so the key flavor I think is really like tart, like sour raspberry. That's the main one. I feel like I'm getting almost a little bit of melon. I'm not sure. Maybe a little bit of honeydew and stuff in there. I'm trying to discern it. I'm mostly noticing the tartness, but it's a pleasant tartness. It's not exceptionally strong. I had one by Jam Hands. Small Pony, Jam Hands. I can't remember which one. Yeah, Jam Hands was the beer. Small Pony was the brewery. That American Wild Ale, that was probably the funkiest beer I've ever had. And this one kind of reminds me of that. If you like a wild ale, I think you'd probably enjoy this. Excuse me. Very mild hops. This is a refreshing sour, though. It's on the lighter side, I find. I think this might be a nice beer for someone who's trying to get into sours, but they don't like something that's very overtly sour. I've had some that like genuinely make me pucker right away, but this bridges kind of the gap a little bit. There is some notes of an IPA there. I think the sourness kind of takes down that perceived bitterness. It says 25 IBU, but I think the perceived bitterness is much, much lower than you'd find otherwise. You almost don't notice so much of the hops. So it feels like almost a fusion of the two things. It's not bad. I do really enjoy the color of this. It's almost like a grapefruit juice if the camera is not discerning it properly, but I would compare that best. Actually, that's... Yeah, that would be what I'm thinking. So it's a raspberry, it's grapefruit, it's got that tartness. This is almost like grapefruit juice, except it's beer. And it has some of that, a little bit more funk behind it. I think out of all the Cowbells I've had, what was the last? Actually, that amber was pretty good. It was funny. I was talking to one of my buddies about it, and he was saying he wasn't a big fan of a lot of the stuff that he had at Cowbell. And the flight that I had to go on had a couple things that were pretty good, but a couple things that were also pretty run of the mill. I did quite enjoy that the red ale that I had, the Bobcat. That was actually quite nice, and this is pretty enjoyable. The one I have upstairs next to try for you guys is their Absent Landlord, which is pretty fun. But what I'm probably going to do with that one, actually, is I'm going to try with another lagered ale side by side. So with the lagered ale is a Kolsch beer, which just means it's an ale, but it's aged like a lager. I'm going to try them side by side with you guys. I'm going to try to get through both beers and stuff. Maybe we'll have to give one to a friend or something. But I want to go through them and kind of discern the differences and stuff of two lagered ales. The one I also have is the, it's by Lost Craft. I think it's the Unify lagered ale. One of my favorite beers. Really fantastic, really crisp, light with some great flavors. So I can't wait to go through that. But we are talking about Raspberry Moon today. I would recommend this if you are a fan of sours, if you are a fan of a nice, light, tart beer. I think for 6.2 it tastes fairly on the lighter side as far as sours and IPAs go. Obviously 6.2 is not a light beer. But I would recommend this. If you want a nice sour, give this a shot. That's the fun thing about craft beer, guys. You get tall cans, you try new things, you see what you like, you see what you don't like. I think the only thing I tried so far, the one video I did not share with you guys because I wasn't a big fan of how I deconstructed the beer, was the double chocolate stout. It just didn't interest me that much. It was fine, tasted good, but it wasn't very challenging. Would I say this is exceptionally challenging? Probably not. No. I can notice the grapefruit, I notice the raspberries, and it has a funky taste to it. This is not the most challenging beer I've tried. If not, probably one of the less so right now, but I would still recommend it if you enjoy a nice tart sour. Otherwise, guys, as always, thank you so much for watching. Check me out on Twitch where I answer fun questions. I play games, answer fun questions about some of my interests like lifting, jiu-jitsu, fitness in general, obviously beer, life goals, stuff like that, life advice, everything, guys. So give me a shout out. Check me out on twitch.tv/soldiercross, guys. And as always, thank you for tuning in. Cheers and be well.